But first of all, as I mentioned, the Isle of Man's first ever major wellbeing festival is taking place at the end of June. And this day will include a whole host of things, from talks and workshops to live music and family activities to, and I quote, inspire and transform the ways in which we experience ourselves, our island and the world. Now, I don't know about you, but I already feel better just saying those things out loud. And I am delighted that we are joined by Mike Kewley, who's organising Mindful Mann, double N, we should say. Mike, lovely to have you with us this afternoon. We were talking about your face yoga a little bit later as well,
Good.
which I'm intrigued by.
Teach me something.
Just remind us, first of all, what it is you do. Give us a bit of your background first.
Well, I teach people mindfulness. So I teach them how to cultivate mental and emotional health and well-being.
We've talked about this on the show before, and it really is something of a buzzword nowadays. But what are the main benefits of being mindful, being in the moment?
Well, there's one, being in the moment rather than kind of your life slipping past your fingers without really tasting it happen. But the two most prominent things that people feed back to me, even after one or two sessions, is less thinking, less overthinking, more kind of mental spaciousness, calm. And what kind of goes hand in hand with that is better sleep. You can sleep finally because your mind is not racing all over the place.
The thing is, as somebody who has tried mindful techniques, and again, Christy will sort of back me up here, this is something we are really interested in, but I find it really hard to know whether or not I'm doing it right. And that is always my main concern. You find these techniques and they say, just stop thinking. I can't.
Yeah, it's not as easy as that. There's a method to take you to that place of not thinking. But it's not easy because when we do mindfulness, we're retraining our mind in a completely different way. We're winding down old habits, winding down the habit of distraction and developing the habit of focus and clarity. And that takes time. I would never say it was easy, but it's doable. But it's a practice. So it's something you keep doing and you get better at.
Would you say you're mindful most of the time?
In some sense, yes. In some sense of the word, yes. In fact, it's hard for me to step out of that now, which can be a problem. I planning ahead, remembering stuff is kind of secondary to just being with what's completely in front of me.
So that must make organising something like a wellbeing festival rather tricky then.
Well, they say life is practice, and this has definitely challenged me. And is challenging me, but it's something I feel passionate about. It's something that I've been meaning to create for a few years now, and finally this feels like the right time to go ahead.
You say the right time because it does feel like more and more people are willing to embrace the sort of ideas behind the likes of mindfulness and meditation, and as we're about to talk, face yoga, that sort of thing. Have you noticed it a huge sort of draw? That's
it. I almost feel like this event is building itself just based on the momentum of the people I encounter. Everything I've done, over the last 6 years or so, it's been slowly, steadily growing, more and more people coming to the drop-in classes, and that there is a community now. Definitely there's a mindfulness community. There's always been a yoga community, on the island. That's been here for a long time. Soon there'll be a face yoga community. But yeah, it's just the idea that, I know there's been festivals on the island where they've done kind of bits and pieces of this, but there's never been a singular event to kind of celebrate and have that conversation about mental health, both the deep end, which you might call spirituality, but you don't have to believe in anything, and just general basic tools for mental and emotional health. We haven't got that event yet.
The interesting thing about the likes of mindfulness, you mentioned spirituality, is there doesn't need to be a spiritual element to that at all, does there?
I don't use that word at all, because it means something different to everybody. So I tend not to use it. When we're talking about spirituality, I mean self-awareness. More awareness of self, more awareness of your mind, your emotions, your habits, your reactions, the life around you that we're usually missing. So that's self-awareness, and that's endless. I was going to say that goes deep, but that's endless. But that's where you would maybe talk about spirituality. That part of you that is endless. It's just fathomless deep. You can't get to the bottom of yourself.
There's much more of a move now to introduce the likes of mindfulness into schools. You've got 2 children. Are you bringing them up to be mindful? And if so, how?
Good question. I was at St Ninian's this morning teaching the 6th formers on the run up to their exams. Well, not really. Leo knows how to. Hello, Leo. He knows how to meditate, and he does it sometimes. When we say that he needs to calm down, he knows how to do it. Primrose is not even 2, but people say, you know, when's the right age? You know, I want to get my kids mindful. Well, the thing is that kids are mindful. You know, mindfulness isn't some kind of thing you don't have and you need it. We're born with innate attention, focus. We're in the moment. That your body lives in the moment, your mind doesn't. So we start off in the body. We start off pretty much okay. It's when we gravitate into the mind and kind of lock onto the stories, that becomes the problem. So kids don't need it, and kids need to know the difference as well. You know, what it's like to have a mind and get lost in it. Otherwise, they're not going to appreciate the fact that you can drop that. You see what I mean?
Is that why time seems to go faster as you get older? Because you're not aware of really what events are happening, and they kind of just go past you in a way. Whereas when you are a child, you know, days seem endless because you're so absorbed in what you're doing.
Exactly as you said, absorption. When you're absorbed in something, time seems to fall away. And when you live in your head, which is a constant story, it eats time. It's constant. And you feel like you've just missed the last 10, 20, 30 years of your life. Where's it gone? Well, it didn't go anywhere. It was here all the time, but we just weren't paying attention to it.
Because it is also about paying attention to what's outside the mind as well. So, for instance, there's that idea, isn't it, that you study the flowers around you, or you sort of actually take notice of the sky, or so it's sort of being aware of what's around you too.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Being fully in your senses in each moment of your life, rather than your mind. Not that the mind is a problem. It's just doing its job, but you don't need to live there 24/7.
I wonder if that's why when you go on holiday, the days seem to be longer because you're in a new environment. So, you know, you're taking more notice of things.
Yeah, that's why travel is a good kind of mindful experience, because, you know, it's all new. Yeah.
I love that. Anyway, we're talking about this festival then, Mike, and just so many things happening there, and themes ranging, as you said, from spirituality to mental health and also community well-being. It's being held at the community farm. I love the description of this, a creative green space on the outskirts of Douglas. Why did you choose there?
Why did I choose there? Because it's a creative green space on the outskirts of Douglas. And I didn't want the festival to be, connotations of, too kind of hippie and let's all camp in a tent and just kind of... I wanted it to be a bit more like a conference, but not a conference either. So the community farm, being a community farm, just tends to, tick that box. So obviously it's being supported by the community farm. It's being supported by, 2018 Year of Our Island as well. So they've been really helpful. And yeah, that's the idea. It's a community event. So the community farm is about the right size for this. And if you've been there, it's just a beautiful spot. It's silent, it's quiet, there's animals. It's a nice place to, cultivate mental health and well-being.
And you've got a range of speakers, and we'll mention each of them. But I'm really intrigued to know, you've got someone who is an author of something called Transpersonal Psychology. What on earth is that?
Okay, here we go. Good question. Transpersonal just means beyond the personal. So you would maybe call that spiritual. So Steve Taylor, who's kind of one of our headline speakers, best-selling author, Mind, Body, Spirit magazine says one of the most 100 most influential spiritual teachers alive right now. He's really good friends with Eckhart Tolle, who wrote The Power of Now. So he's coming here. He's also a poet and an author. So he studies people that have, let's say, awakening experiences, shifts in consciousness, enlightenment experiences. That's his study. And all his books are, talking about those things. And he talks about how to cultivate them. They're not accidental. Actually, mindfulness, if you're doing it, whether you know it or not, is taking you in that direction. But I think the title of his talk is Return to Harmony, Cultivating Spiritual Awakening. So we don't just need to twiddle our thumbs and hope for that lightning blast to hit us. We can practice it. You can practice enlightenment now. So that's what he studies. That's what he's going to talk about. That's transpersonal. Experiences beyond your everyday normal experience.
How do you get someone like that to come to the Isle of Man?
He's been before. He came last year in August. I arranged a talk for him. But the short answer is Facebook. Like anything. You follow your favourite teachers, authors, you send them a message, bang, there you go, and you become quite friendly with them and they pop over.
How wonderfully mindful.
It really is, isn't it? So this day then, which is happening June the 30th, there are tickets available. You can buy them through the Facebook page. And once again, we'll put the links on the Women's Day blog after the show. But how will it work in general terms? I know it's for individuals and for families as well. Can you just dip in and out of the sort of things that are happening? Do you have to sign up to specific workshops you want to go to?
No, it's totally open. So your ticket, which is £25 per person, and it's free to under 16-year-olds. You can turn up. I think it will start at 8, and there'll be stuff on till about 8:30 that evening, including lots of talks on all the different themes, lots of workshops, creative workshops. There's music. There's loads of great food from like Secret Pizza, Flo the Coffee Van, Mother Teas, Happy Cows. Biscay Brish are playing at the end of the night. There's an Oriental dance performance. There's poetry from Janet Lees. There's embodiment movement workshops. There's a Sufi teacher coming over from Manchester, not Pakistan. Graham Clucas, the founder of Quing, the new mental health charity. He's going to talk about his life story. We've got the Headland Mental Health Circle are going to be there. And lots more. So the idea is that you can kind of weave your way. You can spend the day there eating great food and just popping into various talks and things like that. Also, there's loads of yoga. Shine Om, Esther Jones, Heidi Danaher, Sue Woolley. All these people are, offering yoga sessions as well.
Is there a chance that it could be like a music festival where you're trying to run between different things because they're on at the same time? Or is everything sort of stepped so that you won't necessarily miss any of the speakers?
No, there's the chance. But, there's such a variety of things on. I'm trying not to, obviously make things clash, but there's such a broad variety that not everyone's going to want to go to, everything. So there's enough there to kind of suit everybody and still not feel rushed, not feel in a hurry.
I love it.
Yeah,
Sign me up.
It just sounds brilliant.
It really does.
It?
Are you restricted on ticket sales, or it's quite a generous space, I guess?
Well, no, there is a limit. There's 500 tickets. It will be around then. I'm sure we'll have people turn up on the day, to buy tickets as well. But they're selling okay. All the early bird tickets went. So, but yeah, lots of tickets still available.
And can I just make a shout out as well for the fabulous artwork which Bruno Kavlik has designed. This is just such a great poster. It's just sort of joyous and colourful, and it's you, Mike.
Yeah.
With the sun coming out of your head.
Yeah, which is happening now. Bruno's great. Bruno gets it. I absolutely love his artwork. It's kind of visual mindfulness for me, visual human experience. There you go. Big shout out to Bruno there. Yeah, it's great.
Wonderful. As I say, we will put the link on the Women's Day blog after the show about how you can get tickets. But for the moment, Mike, thank you. I feel calm. I feel calm.
Yeah, we always do when Mike's on the show. It's great. It's like our own little personal mindfulness moment.
I know.